Hello ladies, gentlemen, and otherwise. I'm Lamar Haven. Welcome back to the mighty quest for epic loot. Now, in the last episode, we covered things such as assaulting other castles and how you build your character up in doing so, and leveling up your character. Today we're going to discuss defending your own castle and building it. Now, I went over some of the very basics in the last video. We showed some of them, I believe. But now we're going to go into better detail. First thing you have to know, after clicking the defend button, somebody has attacked my castle, and that's the notification that something happened. 2 people have attacked my castle. Okay, well this is great because I want to show exactly what happens when people attack your castle. Well, maybe not. That usually is the indication that somebody's attacked, but it doesn't seem like I can do anything about it. Now, the castle's changed since these attacks have taken place, but I do want to show you what happens. This is somebody I named Anita attacked 1 day ago. They used no potions, at a level 5 archer. I was shielded at the time, which I'll explain in a bit, and I lost. My defense lost. I lost 4 crowns, and they got 1 star in beating me. This will all be explained in greater detail, but let's hit replay and see exactly what happened. And I'll be able to explain as we're going to show it. Now, this is not me playing. This is Anita's run through my castle, and I get to watch exactly what they did. Now, you see in the upper right corner there are 3 stars. You get 1 star if you reach the treasure room without dying, 1 star if you loot all the mines, and 1 star if you beat the timer. Right here, what he was attacking, that's my gold mine. If he destroys it and my life force mine, then he gets a star for beating my castle. But only 1. He also has to beat it within the time that is set, and he also has to not die. Now, he actually missed my second mine. It's placed in the same room as the other mine, but in the other corner. So he didn't get it, and that means he's not going to get a star for doing that. Which means he gets less of a reward, I get less of a penalty if he survives my castle. Now, as you can see, I do need to mention this, the trap that I have placed there that blows fire, it does hurt my own mobs. But it also hurts him, and it's in enough of a choke point that I like its positioning. So that's why I put it there, for just to note. So when you're doing a replay, you can pause it any time and say, I wonder what's going on here exactly. Play, or you can fast forward. And all the way to times 8. So let's go back to times 1. Now, normally, at higher levels, you would have a boss monster. This is a monster that takes more resources to put in, but when you do put it in, it's a lot stronger and it's a lot harder of a fight. Now, you might be asking the time to beat. What set that time to beat? Why is it so strange? I set the time to beat. It's a feature of this game, and I've probably mentioned it before, but like I said, we're going into more detail about defending your castle here. Oh, look! Razalim looted 257 gold and 15 life force. So, new person, he's level 7, he used no potions, he got that much of my gold and that much of my life force, and he 2-starred it. So why don't we watch him, and I'll go into more detail about certain things. Now, I'm going to show you building my castle, because right now it's not optimized, but what happens is...
You are so not ready for this.
Of course I'm not. So, you might notice that there's an item that was placed next to a chest, and he keeps getting tings of experience every time he goes near one of my traps. I explained in the last video that you get experience and rewards for conquering traps. See, he just ignored my mines entirely. He doesn't want to do my mines at all. So there's a reward for actually loading up your, even if you load up your thing with traps entirely. Now see, the paladin here, he's a melee class, so he runs straight in, he attacks my mob of enemies, and he's not affected at all by the traps, where the other 2 main classes, besides the runaway, would have pushed back and stayed within the fire breath range. So obviously there's a weakness in my castle with melee characters. That said, it's still a low-level castle, and the strategy still needs to be worked on, but you can work on the basics of strategy and get better and better. Watch what happens. See, now that it's not shielded, he gets the reward of gold that comes out from the end. You might notice that he barely got any life force. That's because I had very little life force when he attacked. It does take from your total up here, and you do have a maximum. How do you increase the maximum? By improving your castle. Now, the things that hold gold and life force are right here. Gold storage and life force storage. To upgrade them, you need a castle heart of rank 7. Your castle heart, which is right here, can be upgraded as well. The castle build heart needs life force to upgrade though. If you don't have enough life force, you can't upgrade it. But every level you upgrade it also gives you more defense rating and more rooms. Rooms are pretty much exactly what they sound like. This room is always preset. This is their entrance room, and as soon as that drawbridge goes down, timer starts. From then on, you can choose any room you want, and that's what the mines are for, by the way. You collect gold and life force from them. You can't get any more gold or life force mines until you get a bigger heart. Anyway, the rooms are preset rooms that you can build. If you go to Artifice, where you would buy the mines, you also go to the Rooms tab, and here's the various rooms you can use. These are very important for determining your strategy. Here's a cross chamber. See, it's a very simple corridor straight down the line, but if you want to say put a mine here, or put a mine here, or ambush enemies there and there that get aggroed from other stuff, you could. Each room can have its own strategy, and how you build your rooms and how you move them and everything like that is all up to you. There is a level requirement on some of these rooms. Let me go down. So you need a rank 3 architect's office to get this corridor, and so on. It'll always tell you exactly what you need. Rank 6 is the max rank in regards to getting these rooms. That's a weird linear hall. This one, ooh, I like the look of that one. I would really take advantage of that. This is a junction chamber. In the strategy of the game, oh, you might notice I have a shield icon. I'll explain that in a second. In the strategy of the game, it used to be that you wanted to stall for time all the time. Now, you might still want to do that, but there's a problem. You have to run your own castle, and you set the time, like I mentioned before. So if you make let's say I had a junction path, and there was a room here that was pointless, and then there was a room here that would lead to the end, then I would have a problem, because when I run my... in the old strategy, you would put in the hypothetical room here, you would put something useful, like, say, one of the mines. The problem is, when I'm running my own dungeon to set the time, I have to kill every single mine and every single monster, otherwise they're not active. So if I were to put a mine in the hypothetical room here, I have to go and kill it and then continue on, which would mean the time would be really easy for any person invading my castle who would just take the normal path and would ignore that room. Now, they would get less stars because they wouldn't go and kill the they wouldn't go kill the mine there. So it's a give and take. The strategy used to be, though, if they didn't beat your castle in the set time, they didn't win. It considered it a loss. However, you didn't get anything extra for it. You just didn't lose anything. That's not how the game works anymore. Now the game is, as long as they get to the end, they win. However many stars they get determines how much they take from you and how much they gain. However, if they die, and this has always been the same, if someone were to come into my castle and get killed, like say here by this group, I would get to loot their corpse and they would not get anything of mine. They would still get whatever loot dropped, whatever gold dropped normally, but if they got to the very end after reviving, because you can after you die, they wouldn't get anything, even if I wasn't shielded. Now, like I mentioned, shields. If you lose, if your defense loses and somebody steals stuff from you, and it happens too often, a shield pops up. What this means is, the next person to assault your castle, when they get to hear the end, they don't get to steal your stuff. They'll still get their normal rewards, but they won't get the extra rewards of stealing your stuff. And that means that your stuff is still safe. And right here you can see how long your shield is going to last. Whenever you assault a castle, you will see if they are shielded. And you'll get to choose if you want to do anything about it. Now you might see here I only have 100 defense rating out of 125, which means I can add more stuff. I want to see real fast if I can upgrade my summoning portal. I very much can. I'll get Smelly Archer, Defendotron, and Count Snottingham, as well as a hamster wheel. Count Snottingham, you might remember that we fought him. We can use him now as a boss for our castle. Problem is, he requires life force. We don't have any at the moment. So I need to get some more life force if I'm going to add units. So I'm going to go ahead and I'll be right back after grinding some life force up, and then we'll add some more units and then go from there. And welcome back. You might see I am at 600 life force now. Just fought a couple of castles. One was player owned, the rest were not. And while I was doing so, I got attacked again. This time by a level 7 mage. Why don't we see a replay of him, because we haven't seen the mage gameplay, and he managed to 3-star my castle, which is a first, I think. Now, you don't have to fight castles that are the same level as your character. As indicated here, the mage is... I'm going to go ahead and double his speed. He's about level 10, my castle's like level 5. So he should be able to 3-star my castle pretty easily. So he's just using mostly basic attacks to get through that force. He easily saw my 2 mines and avoiding my traps with no problem. The strategy of pushing him back into traps, which is why I have those guys charging, isn't really working since, you know, he's too powerful for it. So he just barreled through everything and beat my time, but only by 3 seconds. So I think that says quite a lot about the time I set for my own castle. So back to the castle itself, and I'm going to demonstrate a few things. First, let's go ahead and summon Count Snottingham.
My castle's bursting at the seams.
Oh, see, there's the problem. I have 100 out of 125, but he's defense rating 26. Monsters have their own individual defense rating. So now that we know that, if we zoom in, we can put one of them away. Now what that does is, if you go to this screen, you'll see we have a derp right here. So when you buy a monster, if you get rid of it in the castle, you still have it. You don't have, it doesn't sell it. So just keep that in mind and Count Snottingham. Alright, put him here. Count Snottingham is a ranged boss. He focuses on ranged attacks. And by putting him in the same radius as all these monsters, if any of these monsters are attacked, Count Snottingham is also aggroed. So he's basically a part of their group. Now, that's not the only thing I wanted to discuss. Count Snottingham, as a boss, basically takes all the Snotter abilities that could possibly have, plus a few more because he's a boss, he gets extra, and he uses them all. However, if your monsters have specific abilities, like, say, the Cyclops, you get to choose. Be warned. Whatever ability you choose, that's the ability all the Cyclopses in your castle are going to use. Cyclopses? Cyclopses? Whatever. Anyway, see, they have 3 abilities. Any monster with an ability is going to have 3 of them. If we click off and go to the Bone Puppeteer, he also has 3 abilities. He has Raising Hell, which raises minions, Medic, which heals wounded creatures, and Rager Engager, which induces a battle frenzy against burning creatures. I'm going to change him to Rager, even though that'll make these 2 guys do stuff that I don't necessarily want them to. It'll make this group all the stronger. In fact, I am going... Oh, never mind. Yeah, I do have a Bone Puppeteer down here. I'm going to move him up here to be part of this group. And then rotate him. That way this group has 2 Enragers, so the boss will get more powerful, and so are the Cyclopses. These guys are just frontliners. Ignore us at your peril. But if they get buffed and they do get ignored, they might be strong enough to actually deal some significant damage. So, we have our new castle. We're shielded right now. Somebody else has attacked my castle and managed to beat it. Repair? It needed repairing? That was odd. Anyway. Oh, you can also upgrade your mines See, I upgrade Gold Mine, now periodically it'll give me more stuff. I'll do the same to my Life Force Mine, but I can't upgrade it anymore without upgrading the heart. So keep that in mind also. These can be upgraded just as the crafting buildings, which are up here. This building here, Cornelius's Emporium, this is their premium currency shop. This is how you can change the theme of your castle. I really love the Frosty theme, but I'm not going to spend money on this game, so I'm not going to be able to get it. You can also get costumes for your characters, and buyback is what all of the shops have. It lets you buy back any equipment you've sold that you've gotten from other people's. Anyway, so let's wrap this video up by having me challenge my own castle and set the time, shall we? Now, when you challenge your castle, you might notice it sets your level to the same level as the castle to make it as fair as possible. You don't want to have this super low level castle, your character being super high level, and all of a sudden you just trounce it and nobody can ever beat that time because you just set an impossible time. No, I'm taking forever already. Up. There we go. See how long that took me? That I'm going to set a terrible time for my castle. Which is okay, because you can go back and set a better time if you want. Now remember, your castle defense only succeeds if you manage to kill the enemy. If you don't kill them, then you get nothing. All the rest of your castle is doing is mitigating how much you lose in the meantime. Alright, last challenge, Count Snottingham. Alright, keep fighting. You have to do a lot of kiting in this game if you want to keep up against the enemies. Count Snottingham, the longer you wait on him, the more dangerous he becomes, because he keeps setting these snot bubbles everywhere. Alright, and that's the end of Snottingham. See, adding Count Snottingham added a good 30 seconds to the previous time I had, and he was pretty much the only major change I made. But that validates my castle, which means other people can now attack it, and they have to beat the time I've set, as well as find all the mines and survive. So, do you think you can pull it off? Look for me online and challenge my castle. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.